It is time for us to welcome in one of the top quarterback prospects in the state of Alabama, not just in the state of Alabama, in the entire country for 2022, and he's right up the road in Gordo, Alabama. What a great football town Gordo is. Tanner Bailey is with us from the Green Wave this morning to talk recruiting and high school football. Good morning, Tanner. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Good to have you on, man. We've been watching you at Gordo, and you've been on the radar for a while, and then this past season as a sophomore on a really good football team, you put up some great numbers. And
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Got a lot of attention from college recruiters, 2,309 yards, 23 touchdowns. You started getting offers, as a sophomore, an impressive offer list indeed. But Alabama and Auburn here in state, where you have ties to both programs, not necessarily on board right away with some of these other schools. But then yesterday, after a phone call with Coach Saban, you went out on Twitter and said that you'd received an Alabama offer. What does that mean to you?
Oh, man, it's been awesome. It's been a blessing. To hear from Coach Saban himself, sometimes in the recruiting process, it's different to hear from the head coach. And so that's been really awesome. And then, growing up so close to Alabama, it's really been a blessing, and I'm just thankful, to have the opportunity.
That offer joins offers from the likes of Georgia, LSU, Michigan, Mississippi State, Tennessee, West Virginia, and others. 6'1", 195 pounds. You're an athletic player. Obviously, throwing the football is your forte. But I've watched you. We cover high school football on Friday nights at the television station, and you're a pretty athletic kid, Tanner. You can use your legs when you need to, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've been working on this off season, getting bigger and stronger. To expand, our offense. However we can win. I want to help.
What's impressive is that you still got 2 years of high school ball left. So, it's not like you're a 2021 guy. You're already getting these offers, and your ceiling, you don't even seem to me to be close to it. You can get a lot better with 2 years of high school football remaining, don't you think?
Sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate that. I think getting bigger and stronger is my main goal. And, wanting the offense more, getting with my coaches and my coaching staff and just studying just football. And I think that'll come into play, this off season, and then obviously going into my senior year. So hopefully we'll win a state championship here in Gordo soon.
Well, I mentioned what a great football town Gordo is, man. It's awesome.
Yes,
it's
sir.
Incredible teams. Great tradition there. And you got when it comes to the Iron Bowl, you got ties to both programs. Your dad Lance played quarterback at Auburn. Your grandfather Ken played quarterback for Coach Bryant at Alabama. Now, you admitted that you grew up an Auburn fan, but I found it interesting in an article at AL.com. You said once recruiting started, you put all that fanboy stuff aside. You're looking at it.
Yes,
you're
sir.
looking at the rivalry a little different now, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've been looking at it mainly from a business decision. When it comes to picking a college and choosing a college, I want to go somewhere where I fit. I want to go somewhere where I fit as a quarterback. Play style kind of, and then the coaching staff too. And I think that'll play a big role. And I'm starting to develop a bunch of relationships with all these schools that are interested in me. And so, growing up an Auburn fan, it really was cool to get one from Alabama yesterday because the big rivalry, the Iron Bowl, and so it's just been awesome. This whole process.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that because you did grow up an Auburn fan, and I have no doubt. I mean, like I said, there's a long time until you have to sign, and I'm pretty confident with this list of offers that you're going to get an offer from Auburn at some point. But how disappointing is it to grow up an Auburn guy and to have not received an offer from them yet? Does that bother you at all?
It really doesn't bother me. I think that if the coach wants me, then they'll pull the trigger and they'll offer me. And if they don't, I can't get my feelings hurt. But I think that that it may be coming soon. If not, then I just have to look at it. Keep my head up and just look at it from a business decision, like I said, and choose out of the schools that I have. And so, but Auburn was always home. When I was younger. But as this recruiting process started, it's just been put the fanboy aside and just make the decision that's best for me.
Yeah, that's a great approach. Coming from a football family the way that you do, how. Obviously it's your decision, but how is that process like with the family to have a dad who played college football I'm assuming that's got to be a big help, and you got to be able to rely on him. And I know he's your dad to begin with, but he's got experience with this. That's got to be a big help for you.
Yes, sir. My dad has been my coach and my mentor, since I've grown up, since I was a kid, and he's always taught me everything I know pretty much. And so, he sees things that, sometimes I don't see, whether it be in the recruiting process or, in just everyday life. And so I'm just glad, have somebody there that, that can look out for me and help me make decisions. But at the end of the day, that they say to me, too, that, it'll be my decision. And so I'm just really glad, that I have parents that, care about me and have enough, knowledge about the game and about this whole recruiting process.
Gordo High School football quarterback Tanner Bailey, our guest here. He's got numerous offers from all over the country. Received an Alabama offer on Monday. He's got people here in this area pumped up. Still has 2 years of high school football to play. You mentioned, I said 6'1", 195 pounds. You mentioned that you're working to get bigger and stronger. What are some of the things that you're doing in that regard to increase your speed, to increase your arm strength, to get bigger, stronger, and faster? What's that, especially during this pandemic when you can't really, go to the weight room at the school and you can't work out with your teammates? How are you working to improve in those areas?
I played baseball, and so right after baseball season got canceled, I knew that I had to, to do something, and so I just got my head on right, and I wanted to gain, 10, 15 pounds of muscle, of good weight. And so since baseball season has been out, I've been on a nutrition program, and I've been working out 4 to 5 days a week with my friends at my house and stuff like that. And so that's really been one of the main things I've been doing during this pandemic is just, getting bigger and stronger, be able to run the ball some, and also, take a lick. My freshman year, I was pretty skinny, some of those licks, I still have bruises from today. So, and so I just wanted to get, bigger and stronger, for the season, to expand the offense.
Joe, this kid gets after it. Can you tell?
I love it. It's exciting.
He's serious about this. You mentioned baseball, and you are an excellent baseball player, and you got a great baseball team. And I know it's for the case for all of the spring sports. You're still a high school athlete at this point. You still got a couple years of high school to go. What was that like? How disappointing was that for you and your teammates to not have that opportunity this year to compete as a baseball player?
It hurt. The seniors this year are probably one of the, besides my class, probably the closest guys I'm to at Gordo, and so that one kind of hurt, especially 2 or 3 guys I played, little league ball all the way since I was 3 years old with them, and so I know that they're hurting, and but they'll probably go on to play, college ball. I know one of them's going to play Division I football, and another one will probably play a small Division II baseball, and so I know that they were upset, but life is life, and it goes on.
Yeah, it does, and we all understand. We got to look out for the greater good, and that's a good attitude to have. Are you worried, though, or how concerned are you about this high school football season coming up being impacted? Is that something that you've talked about with your dad, and what are your thoughts on that?
I've been taking it one day at a time. I can't just assume that, it'll probably, be canceled or anything like that, because I can't just sit back and wait till they make a decision to start working out and, to start throwing and stuff like that. So I'm gonna practice until they call it off. And that's going to be my mentality. And, hopefully they won't. It'd be bad if they did here in Gordo, because, how big Gordo is on football.
Oh, man. Hey, on Friday nights in Gordo, Joe, listen, there ain't nothing else to do. You're either at the high school football game or you're not in. I know it's important there, Tanner. It is. All right, you got a couple years left, like I said, of high school, so it's no rush. But you do have an impressive offer list already. Do you have a timetable? Do you have an idea? Have you talked with your family about when you would like to make a decision and make a commitment? Is that even on the radar yet as far as the timetable with you and your family?
As of right now, it's not. I think I'm going to wait pretty much as long as I can and, wait all my options, even if some offers come in later. So I think that right now I don't have a specific time to commit, or, I would like to do it after my junior season for sure. And that'll only be if I know. And so if I do commit, it'll probably be after, this year's season, either going into next year or after next year's season. I just want to, when football season comes around, I just focus on, Gordo football and try to keep the recruiting process, a little bit distant for a while, to focus on winning. And then after football season, I'll start digging back deep into the recruiting process and start thinking a little bit more.
One final question, and I'll turn you loose. And you mentioned that, the recruiting process is different at different schools, but it always, I know, means more when the head coach is on the phone with you. And
yes, sir.
Nick Saban is the number one head coach in college football right now, arguably the greatest of all time. And you've handled yourself really well on this phone interview, and you've got poise. I can tell you need it as a quarterback. Did you get a little nervous though? Were you shaking a little bit when you had him on the phone and he offered you a scholarship to the University of Alabama? What was your emotion like at that moment?
To be 100% honest, I didn't know for sure who I was talking to at Bama. My head coach called me. And said that they had wanted me to get up with them, and so he gave me a number to call, one of the assistants, and so a nice lady answered the phone and said, "Here's Coach." And so I didn't know if that was Coach Sarkisian.
Wow. I
talked to Coach Milwee, and of course when you hear that voice, you kind of know who it is. And so he answered, and he started talking about the personal stuff like the pandemic and stuff like that, and what I've been doing. And then he kind of cut straight to it and offered me. The rest of the call I was kind of in a daze, honestly.
That's awesome, man. Listen, we're so excited for you, and you got a bright future, and all of these terrific schools that are recruiting you. But that's I don't want to make it bigger than it is, Joe. But imagine that's a once in a lifetime moment, man, to have Nick Saban on the phone telling you, "Hey, we want you to come to the University of Alabama." Congratulations, Tanner, and continued success. And we'll be visiting with you again.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely.